Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So we are going to be talking about the Al-Quds Day or Quds Day March today in London. The Al-Quds Day March that is no longer a march. So that's what we're going to be talking about now. There are various news outlets in London right now talking about this. GB News have just posted, I've never seen as such a massive police presence. So I'm going to be flicking to there's lots of videos online, guys. Okay, this is live, so I don't know what's happening. I've got multiple social media screens open, and I'm going to be flicking through and seeing what's happened. Okay, what is happening? So it is the Al-Quds Day March today in London. Now, this is as I understand it, this is the first time that this march has ever been cancelled. Also, let me share this with you. Actually, also there have been explosions. One dead after explosion at pro-regime Al-Quds demonstration in Tehran. Now, I'll get nods off. Now, that was, I understand, Friday the 13th of March, unlucky for some. So we are going to be putting all this together, guys. Like I said, this is live, so I'm just looking through videos now. Okay, I'll share this screen with you, and then we'll talk about what actually Al-Quds Day is. Because I'll be honest with you, I didn't really understand what Al-Quds Day was or Quds Day.
Thanks, Michael. Yes, of course, we're here at the Al-Quds protest. Of course, as you know, last weekend, Sir Mark Rowley, the chief of the Metropolitan Police, wrote to Shabana Mahmood to ensure that this group couldn't march. Now, that's because, of course, tensions are rising ever higher. We've got actually an anti-protest, a counter-protest on the other side here. The police have had to separate these two groups by a river. There is now a bridge separating the two. It's a massive police presence here today. Now, this protest is due to kick off at 1 o'clock, hence why you can't see any banners up at the moment, Michael. There's going to be quite a controversial day. I have never seen such a massive police force. They've got Cheshire Police here as well, people busting from all over the place to manage the data. You can see already we've got a few agitators behind us. We expect to see a lot more of that today. But you know, Michael, it's going to be a difficult day for the police today, and I think it's going to be a difficult day for us here too.
Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about today, guys. Okay, so it is the Al-Quds Day, and they are gathering right now in both sides, so the protest and the counter-protest. So I'm going to give everyone a little bit of information that I found out about Al-Quds, and I don't know if you guys know this or not. I certainly didn't. I didn't really know what the I didn't really know what this was all about. However, what I have found out is that the name Al-Quds comes from the Arabic word for Jerusalem. I didn't know that, meaning the Holy One. So it's often translated as Jerusalem Day or International Quds Day or Quds Day or Al-Quds Day, depending on, I guess, where you're from. Now, this was established in 1979 by the founder of the Islamic Republic of Iran, shortly after the Iranian Revolution. In his declaration on August the 7th, 1979, the then Supreme Leader called on all Muslims worldwide to dedicate the last Friday of Ramadan to demonstrate unity against what he called Israel, basically, and in support of the legitimate rights of the Palestinians. So, listen, and the more you look into this stuff, the more you think, how is that how's that being allowed to happen? So every year in the United Kingdom, we have had a pro-Iranian march that is calling for really bad things to happen to Israelis. And honestly, until today, when I've been looking at this, I didn't know. Now, he was framing it as the Supreme Leader back in 1979 framed this as a way to highlight the what's happening in Palestine, what's happening in Gaza, and to reject Israeli control over Jerusalem, which is, as you guys know, home to the Al-Aqsa Mosque, Islam's third holiest site, and stand against oppression, colonization, and imperialism. Now, the use of these words are very significant because these are words that liberals feel that they can stand behind. And look, is anybody under the illusion? I think that Alaska Mosque is going to get hit by a missile very soon. Now, from the start of the of Al-Quds Day, it was promoted by the Iranian government as a global day of action with large state-organized rallies in Iran, which were often the biggest, events in obviously other Muslim majority countries, as well as here in the United Kingdom. Now, normally this is observed with rallies, marches, demonstrations that typically follow Friday prayers on the last Friday of Ramadan, which would be last Friday. However, for reasons I'm not clear, they're having that protest today. Now, in Iran, it's a major national event with huge crowds burning flags of Israel and America, speeches from leaders, and very strong anti-Western rhetoric. So I do think that this Al-Quds Day march has morphed into an anti-Western march. I do think that's what's happened, guys. Okay, let me know what you think. Now, internationally, events do vary. Some are peaceful, showing solidarity with Palestinians. Other feature more controversial, confrontational slogans, symbols from groups like Hezbollah and Hamas, which have been banned in the United Kingdom, or calls for an end to Israel. And one of the things we were speaking about earlier on in the live stream was when people are waving flags and it says something in Arabic, how do the police know what that says? That could say something really bad. And if you had that in English, people may say, oh, hang on a minute, mate, you can't have a flag saying that. However, because this is in a different language, nobody really understands what that means. I don't read Arabic, guys. I speak Baghdadabic, but I wouldn't be able to read it. Now, the organizers are the Islamic Human Rights Commission in the United Kingdom. They describe it as a platform for justice, anti-apartheid, and support for oppressed Muslims worldwide. Look, now I'm not right. Okay, so oppressed Muslims. We have special laws in the United Kingdom right now, especially so nobody can upset Muslims, right? So I don't know where this whole Muslim oppression thing comes from. Right, there have been controversies and criticism. So critics, including governments, Jewish organizations, and security services, view it as a vehicle for Iranian regime propaganda and promotion of anti-Western ideologies. A platform that has historically included hate speech, glorification of designated terrorists, and calls for violence against Israelis. In some cases, events have led to arrests for hate crimes or support of prescribed organizations. Now, here in the United Kingdom, where we live, the current context today with the ongoing US-Israel war against Iran, Al-Quds Day carries extra tension. And like I just shared with you guys on that video then, it does look like that tension is building in London right now. London is the traditional march location. However, it has been banned this year. And I think this is the first time it's ever been banned. Now, what they're doing is they're banning the march, but they're allowing a static protest. So literally, you're going to have two sides face off against each other over the water. I actually think in some manners that could make things worse, right? Because you're going to get people now in static locations, north and south of the Thames. You're going to get these people in these static locations, and they're just going to be riling themselves up, right? They're going to be seeing, imagine getting two football clubs, right? And putting a fence between them and saying, right, go on, shout at each other, like get each other angry. I believe that's what's happening right now. In short, Al-Quds Day began as an Iranian-initiated call for Muslim unity against Israel and in favor of the Palestinians, rooted in the 1979 revolution. However, it has grown into a global symbol of Islamic resistance against the West. While, you know, this is highly controversial right now, especially in London, and that's basically, in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, that's what Al-Quds Day is. Right, listen, guys, let me jump onto social media real quick, because this is live, so let me see if there's been any updates. Okay, so hang on, let me see if there's any new fresh videos. Okay, so there's a video of some people praying, so there's a little bit of praying going on before Al-Quds, going on. It does look a bit cold. I never get this, guys. Can you imagine, right? Can you imagine like 1945, after the Second World War? Can you imagine the pilots and the soldiers coming back and seeing this in London and saying, "Yeah, lads, yeah, lads, you know how you think in 2026 there's going to be flying cars and bases on the moon? Nah, this is London." Can you imagine if you said to someone back in like 1945 or whatever, what do you think London will look like in 2026? Oh, we're going to have flying cars and an elevator up to the moon and spaceships, and, you know, it's going to be all this like, no, you know, kind of didn't go that way. Right, I'm just jumping down, guys, see if there's any more videos. Right, I know people are live, but I don't really want to share this, because when things are live, sometimes it goes back. Hang on, is that now? Right, there's just something come up, guys, so I'm gonna play this now. Right, I will share this, actually. I will share this. In fact, will I share it? Oh, what have I done? Right, so there is a live stream. Let me share this live stream with you guys.
She doesn't like being told what to do. Right, there you go. Stay this side now, don't go in the middle. Oh, don't go in the middle. So, I'm not fucking looking up for my gear, ain't you, at the same time, and bloody everything else. Right, come on.
So it still looks like crowds are still gathering at the moment, guys. It does. It looks like the crowds are still gathering at the moment. I think what's going to happen is normally in these protests, especially the way this one's been set up, you will get obviously they're allowed to be on both sides until 3 o'clock. So what I feel will happen, when these crowds are being dispersed, I think that's when they're gonna I think that's where they're gonna meet. Right, listen, also, ladies and gentlemen, there have been explosions and at least one fatality. So this is in Tehran on Friday. At least one dead after explosions at pro-regime Al-Quds demonstration in Tehran. So we're going to talk about that real quick, and I'm going to give you guys some update on that. So as we are today, guys, we're talking about Al-Quds Day, which is Iran's annual state-organized rally. Now, I just give you guys a little bit of context what that's all about. And look, I didn't know what this was about. Obviously, this is the last Friday after Ramadan. You know, people are supposed to go out and show their solidarity for the Iranians, and for what this has turned into. Basically, is this has turned into it's turned into a day of Muslim unity against the West. That's what I feel it's turned into. However, this year, as this protest, as this Al-Quds Day happened in Tehran, with US and Israeli strikes hammering military sites and Iran firing missiles and drones, you know, right back at that situation. So there's no way of denying this now, guys. This is an absolute hot war. And right in the middle of it, you've got in the center of Tehran, Ferdowsi Square, that's what I believe it was, near the university, explosions rocked the demonstration. Iranian state media, Press TV, and others say at least one woman was sent to the candy shop by shrapnel from what they call a US-Israeli airstrike. I'm pretty convinced it's not a US and Israeli airstrike. I mean, I don't know if it's like they've got either a US or an Israeli airstrike. I just don't think they know which one. Footage shows thick black smoke rising over the city, crowds chanting Allahu Akbar, which is God is greatest, and death to Israel, death to America, pumping their fists in defiance. Even as the blasts happened nearby, senior officials were there, including the president and the foreign minister, turning it into a show of unbreakable resolve. That's what they're calling it. Israel had warned people to evacuate parts of central Tehran ahead of fresh airstrikes, targeting missile sites, weapon production facilities. The regime went ahead anyway. Reportedly, although I've seen the footage, I'm not convinced it was millions, but they're saying millions turned out nationwide, framing it as pure defiance. Nothing will stop us, but the cost was real. Now, why does this matter? Why does this matter what's going on? Like, what's going on in the Middle East? Why does it matter? Well, we're sharing scenes from what's happening right now in London. The war isn't staying in the Middle East, guys. It's not. For those of you guys who was on the live stream earlier on, actually, I drove past the same petrol station, so it's gone up another 2 pence. Honestly, like I drove past, I can't remember what the price was. I can't even remember what it is now, but I remember driving past. I think it was like £1.57 for diesel when I drove past this morning. When I drove past this afternoon, it's now £1.59. Doesn't sound like much, right? But when you're constantly pumping these prices up and up and up and up. So if I'd have filled up this morning, it would have cost me less than I filled up this afternoon. And I think that's going to just keep going higher, okay? Now, for those of you guys who know, this conflict, it's hitting everybody. It doesn't look like there's any sign of let off. In London today, there is the Al-Quds Day demonstration. It was a march. It's not a demonstration anymore. You've also got the counter-protest as well. So you've got big this is the biggest counter-protest I've ever seen, where you've got Persian Iranians, Israelis. You've got huge diaspora communities, both in London and beyond. And everybody is gathering right now in London. We run the real risk today, guys, of an event happening. Now, whether that event, you can say it's going to be a false flag, or you can say it's sleeper cells, or there's so many different things that we can say that these incidents are going to be. For everyday people like you and me, it's not going to matter if it's a false flag, if it's a sleeper cell, if it's a lone wolf, if it's this new terror, if it's this new terror organization, I forget their name. It's not going to matter to us, all right? It's absolutely not going to matter. Because if somebody's driving really fast where they shouldn't be, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? When that car's coming towards you, it's not going to matter. The only thing that's going to matter is that car coming towards you. So we do have a lot unfolding today. Right, let me just... right, I'll share... Give me a second.
Our first walk through the QUDS demonstration village, whatever you want to call it. Is that what you reckon it is? Demonstration? No, rally. Okay, so yeah, so that was our little first walk through the rally. Yeah, we're going to go somewhere over there and do it. Okay, cigarette.
So it does look relatively calm at the moment. It does. It looks relatively calm at the moment. Right, let me jump on and get some comments, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about the Al-Quds Day march, the Al-Quds Day protest today in London. In Tehran on Friday, there were explosions, there were airstrikes, at least one fatality. And if you live in the United Kingdom, if you live in London right now, people in London are absolutely braced for whatever's coming. Andy is saying, just been out to Asda in Rotherham, petrol up by 7 pence a litre since last week. Yeah, the price of diesel is going up a lot quicker, guys. The price of diesel is going up a lot quicker. Right, I'm just going to jump and get the comments, guys. Full pause is saying, please support Sean and give him the thumbs up. I agree, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Please make sure you hit those buttons down below. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Googleanos is saying, reckon the illegals will enter through the river to join the protest. I don't know what that means. I'm assuming Googleanos is meaning the Thames. Sean, we could have... Oh, hang on. Sorry, guys. The chat's not on. I do apologise. Sean, we could have all that stuff, but we have this pointless ideology. Shit to deal with first. Oh, right. Okay, yeah. So I shared a picture earlier, or like I shared an image earlier of the Al-Quds Day protest in London, and you know there was all these. I'm assuming they were Muslim because they were they were all going down and oh, hang on, let me share this, guys. Give me a second. Right, something's happening.
We'll just let this group come in, and then we'll wander back around the side. Oh, Princess Angela, how you doing?
Hi, Angela.
Who else you got? Sydney.
CP nearly got nicked
Callum,
earlier.
come on, Cal, get your ass down here. Moo.
Callum, you nearly missed me one day and get nicked earlier, you did.
God, why are you saying that with such a smile? Come on, Cal. But I use.
Callum, come and have one dinner with me, man.
I don't need help. I just need you to listen and listen.
Yeah, so it looks like people. It looks like those crowds are gathering. I've got quite a few. I've got a few. Sorry, guys, if I'm jumping about. It's just I've got a few screens open here. Hang on, let me share this one with you as well. This has just come up a couple of seconds ago. Listen, I don't mean to be rude. I don't think this is going to make the charts. I don't know what they're saying. Do you know what this all reminds me of? Has anyone seen that movie? I'm sure you have. I think it was called Zero Option in the United States, but in the United Kingdom it was called Who Dares Wins with what's his name, Bodie, Lewis Collins. This all reminds me of the beginning to that. It does. It really all reminds me of the the beginning to that movie, when there's these protests and the world's collapsing, the country's collapsing. And these are the types of things that drive extremism. These protests that drive extremism, you've got all these people around you, you get lost in the moment. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize today if I'm jumping between comments and jumping onto screens quick. It's just I've got quite a few screens open, and we're looking at what's happening in London today with the Al-Quds Day March. And if I stop, I'll try and get as many comments as well. I'll try and get those on. But ultimately, when something jumps up, I have to go and get it. Right, I'm literally at the bottom. It reminds me of Iran at 1979. Yeah, it does actually. It does. So for those of you guys who don't know, the Iranian Revolution in 1979 was where the Islamists sided. There was like an alliance between the Islamists and the liberals in Iran. And when the Islamists got in, they didn't need the liberals anymore. So guess what? Guess what happened to them? Yeah, you guys know exactly what happened to them. Googlinos is saying the police boats are out. The police boats are out. Right, I'm trying to right, let me open another screen up, guys. You know what? I'm not going to open another screen up. I'm just going to search on this one. If I open too many screens up, it might if I open too many screens up, it might close the live stream down. Yeah, so in response to what we was talking about earlier, I was just saying, like, if you imagine it being 1945, right? Imagine it being 1945, and you just come back from World War II, and someone says to you, they say, "Hey, Henry, Jeff, Harry, what do you think London will be like in 2026? And then you show that you're like, yeah, right. What would you say? And like, this is the reality. So I think this is the pre Al-Quds Day protest pray. Quick pray. Having a nice little prayer before the quick prayer before protest. Right. I feel this is being suppressed, guys. Right, okay. 1 minute ago, we've got an update from GB News 1 minute ago. Let me share this. I think this is being suppressed. I should be getting more hits from this when I search.
Banned.
So this is a live, 1 minute ago update, guys.
Alex, we're expecting thousands and thousands. It's a bit odd, isn't it? Because the Home Secretary took great pride in saying the march was banned, but we're still going to see potentially thousands and thousands of people gathering in London, which in effect, it's almost as if the march is happening anyway.
Absolutely, Andrew. This is, in fact, a passerby who noticed my microphone here said it's a bit of a farce, isn't it, that this march was banned because they're still going to gather in their thousands. In fact, the whole of the South Bank here from Vauxhall Station up to this bridge is completely cut off. There are police vans out in force. There's a Cheshire police van here, so we know that the police have been sent here from across the country. I have to say, I have never seen such a massive turnout for police for a protest. You can see them behind me. I wanted to show you just a few of them here already. Now, I'm going to just walk you around this way, Andrew. There's already a couple of thousand people behind me for this protest, but I'm going to show you back here what's going on. This is the top of the road where the cordon for the protest is starting. I don't know if you can see in between these two police vans here, there are buses now lining up with people ready to come into this protest, which has only just been allowed to start. Of course, this protest was, there was no placards allowed until literally 1 o'clock. We were down there checking it out ourselves. Everyone had to turn their placards around. They were trying to stop us from doing a little bit of filming earlier on. Of course, they're already a little bit upset as soon as they see the GB News logo. And some of them recognised some of my previous work, let's put it that way. But Andrew, the story here today is a tale of two protests. There is another protest forming across the side of the water here on the Thames indeed. So there's Israeli flags over there, Iranian pre-Islamic regime flags, and on this side here you've got
It does get a little bit confusing, right? When you've got it's like we're pro-Iran, and we're protesting. So what I think people should start using is Persian, right? So the pro-current regime, and I'll make mistakes doing this, guys. I'll make mistakes, but please correct me. So the pro-current regime, the pro-Ayatollah regime, I'm going to call them Iranians, and the people who are, anti-oppression, who fled Iran in the 70s, early 80s, I'm going to try and from now on refer to those people as Persians, right? Just to make it easier when I'm talking about this, because it does get a little bit confusing.
Array of flags. You've got the Lebanese flag, you've got the Gaza flag, you've got, of course, the British flags as well, actually. But of course, you've also got the Islamic regime of Iran flag too. So yeah, the police are out in force. They have literally divided them by a bridge, Andrew. That's how worried they are about violence today. And I can kind of see why. It feels very tense.
Okay, so that was literally, that was released a couple of minutes ago. So I'm going to leave this on. I'm going to leave this on now, and I'm going to keep updating that stream. What I'm going to say now to everyone is I think this is being suppressed. I do. I'm doing searches for these things, and they should be coming up. I should be getting lots of these search results. There should be, I would speculate, there is lots of people right now streaming from all these places. However, I'm definitely getting, we're definitely getting suppressed. Right. So outside Zara in Bristol, there was a white girl. She got beat up by a load of black girls. I think that was it in Zara, and all the mums, basically, all the soccer mums have gone in and they're all protesting outside. We're in chaos, guys. And one of the things that's happening right now in the United Kingdom, people just don't care anymore. There's no unity. It's becoming very tribalistic. It is. I saw a Sikh. Guys, do you know about the Sikh guy who's been arrested for not selling halal food? Give me a second. Let me find this. Right, let me try and find this. Right, I'm pretty sure somewhere I found there was... Guys, can somebody help me out with this? Maybe I'm just making this up. I'm sure there was a guy arrested in London for refusing to sell halal meat. I don't know. I can't find that. Maybe I just made that up. I don't know. Maybe I just imagined that. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking this afternoon today about the Al-Quds Day March that is happening right. Well, it's not a march. It's a static protest. However, it does look like it's still going ahead. So, for context, in the United Kingdom, the Home Secretary Shabina Mahmood, they cancelled this protest, and they said, no, we're not allowed to have this protest because it's too inflammatory. There's too much violence going on, and we think that there is a high risk of violence with this Al-Quds Day protest or march or whatever it is. So it got cancelled, but it's still going ahead. And I think the cancellation of this is just going to it's just going to get more people there. You know how when you tell somebody you're not allowed to do something and they say, oh, right, we're going to go out there and do it anyway. So I do think you're going to get a bigger turnout. As we are right now, I'm looking at various open source media platforms, and as soon as anything happens, guys, I will throw it out there. So, just as a quick history of what Al-Quds Day is, it was established in 1979 in Iran by the then I think it was the supreme leader of Iran in 1979. Which was I think it was the 7th of August. Now, this was a worldwide call on Muslims to dedicate the last Friday of Ramadan to demonstrate unity against what he called usurper Israel in support of the legitimate rights of Palestine. Now, he framed it as a way to highlight the plight of Palestinians to reject Israel and reject their control over Jerusalem. From the start, it was promoted by the Iranian government, by the Iranian regime, as a global day of action from Muslims to show support for Palestinians. However, over the years, I believe this has been hijacked now as and I believe what this stands for now is, from the Muslim world, it's Muslims showing opposition to the West. That's where I think it is now. I'm pretty, that's what I would say it's it's moved into. And just as a little bit of backstory as well, I didn't realize that Al-Quds, the word Al-Quds, comes from the Arabic word for Jerusalem, meaning the Holy One. So it's often translated as Jerusalem Day. And I didn't know that, ladies and gentlemen. Every day is school day. Every day is school day. Walter is saying, the Supreme Leader sounds like Star Wars member who came out about at the same time. Yeah, like the dark, what is it? Palpatine. What's his name? Palpatine. Ali Bay is saying, oh my God, Sean, Zakat Foundation is an advert on your videos. Oh, I don't even know what the Zakat Foundation is. Listen, guys, I have absolutely I've no say on what adverts come out. Obviously, I'll be talking about Al-Quds Day, and they'll be looking at the expressions. Google Enos is saying, U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright says rising gasoline prices are part of the plan to change the world's geopolitical landscape. Listen, I don't know if you guys were on the live stream earlier on. The price at the pump is going to go up, right? That's the reality. There's no way around it. The price at the pump is going to go up. Now, a very good visual metric, a very good visualization of this. If you want to know or consider which way fuel prices are going to go right now, just look at the Strait of Hormuz, right? If the Strait of Hormuz is opened up and, people are putting oil through the Strait of Hormuz, shipping oil through the Strait of Hormuz, then the likelihood is in a couple of months, right? In a couple of months, then oil price, you know, the price at the pump may come down. However, until the Strait of Hormuz is not, you know, is opened up, that's just going to keep going up. The oil price is just going to keep going up. Lots of reasons for this. There's genuine supply chain issues. There is supply chain issues. There's price gouging. There's hoarding, and as well, I keep saying this, guys. Okay, and I'll say this on every. I'll say this on every live stream. Okay. Diesel. It's everything's about diesel now. It's all about diesel. The world runs on diesel, and that's why I've been saying it a long time. That's why you're seeing the price of diesel rise exponentially. You know, in comparison with the price of petrol. And look, I went out this morning. I can't remember what it was. I think the price of petrol was like 49, well, not 49, £1.40. I think it was £1. I think it was £1.47 this morning. I just went out earlier on after I did a live stream. I went out to get some bits and came back. It's now same garage, exact same garage. It's now £1.49. So it's gone up at 2 pence in the space of like, I don't know, a couple of hours or whatever. Yeah, I have no say on the ads, guys. I have no say on the ads. Right. Dixie is saying it's obvious by the two-tier everything that they want civil unrest. The only thing is, I don't think they are ready for it. Yeah, I mean, the only people who win in civil unrest are the Americans when they come over and take control. Ryan is saying it's only taking a while due to vast amounts of tolerance the Brits hold. If the reaction is as strong as the intolerance, there's a poem. I read this poem a while ago. Let me read it again. There's a poem called "The Beginnings" by Rudyard Kipling. It's a powerful poem. It was also rebranded as "Wrath of the Awakened Saxon." But the original poem is called "The Beginnings." Now, if you guys want to go and, in fact, let me get it up. Give me a second. So there's this poem, okay? "Wrath of the Awakened Saxon," or "The Beginnings." "Wrath of the Awakened Saxon" sounds better, but the original is "The Beginnings." There's a poem there. I'll just read you the first bit to that, and it really is it is really powerful, guys. It is. So, it was not part of their blood; it came to them very late, with long arrears to make good, when the English began to hate. And if you read that as "Wrath of the Awakened Saxon," it's they just change out the word English with Saxon. They were not easily moved. They were icy, willing to wait till every count should be proved, ere the English began to hate. Their voices even low, their eyes were level and straight. There was neither sign nor show when the English. It was not preached to the crowd. It was not taught by the state. No man spoke it aloud. When the English, I'm leaving out that key word, guys, because I might get the video flag. So I think everybody should go and read that poem, because it's really powerful, and it's so relevant, I think, in today's climate, how people feel. You know, it does feel like sometimes you're a second-class citizen in your own country, the country that you're paying for. Right, let me give a quick search on here. Right, 2 minutes protesting. Right, let's have a look at this, guys. There's a new video on. Let's have a look at this new video. a little market stall selling flags. Fair play to them. Down to these capitalist pigs. Make sure you buy your flags, though. It's embarrassing, right? It's embarrassing. You've got all this stuff happening, right? And the absolute destruction of, the absolute destruction of Britain. Oh, hang on a minute. Right, okay, I've got another video. Right, I've got Sky News video, guys. Give me a second. Right, the videos are coming out now. I've got Sky News video.
This was normally, it's an annual march, but this year, because of the potential conflict between the two groups, the potential for violence and disorder, the police asked the Home Secretary to ban the march and instead have static demonstrations. So you've got one on this side of the river, and then if I take you over to...
I'm pretty sure that flag, the Iranian flag with the like... That's something off Star Wars, right?
To the edge of the River Thames, you'll be able to see, just excuse me, you'll be able to see protesters on the other bank. They're being kept well apart because the police were so concerned. So you can see a much smaller demonstration on the Millbank side, the north side of the River Thames. That's really a coalition of groups who broadly are in support, who oppose the march here, but at the demonstration this side.
I mean, this is so honestly, like this is funny, right? This is hilarious, right? I'm lost for words. You've got like, right, you guys stand on that side, shout at each other. You guys stand on. It's crazy, absolutely insane.
Are against the current regime in Iran, and they're also anti-Semitism groups too. But police are expecting many more people on this side. They're going to do their best to keep the two groups well apart. They can't guarantee that will happen. They were concerned about the potential flashpoint between these groups. That's why they applied to the Home Secretary, and she agreed that it was just too risky to have a march through central London, and that's why police are hoping that they've done all they can to keep these groups apart. But they do say that this is a very complex police operation.
Very complex police operation. So these are actual scenes right now in the United Kingdom. I will be honest, guys. I'm not seeing the big crowds that I was expecting. Like most of these things, the trouble doesn't start. The trouble normally starts at the end of these things, right? It starts at the end where people are walking home, where people are leaving in groups, in droves. However, there's a lot of press, there's a lot of media, and I'm going to be getting you guys information as soon as that. Let me refresh the screen. As soon as information jumps out, guys, videos become available. I will jump and get them on. Right, let me jump over and get some more comments on the chat. I'm the dark, attractive side, though. Oh, it says Darth Vapor. Googlinos is saying security at the Oscars dramatically ramped up tonight following FBI alert over possible Iran strike. Does anyone actually listen? Who watches the Oscars? Like, who watches the Oscars? Like, does anyone watch the I can remember when the Oscars were it was a really big thing. Oh, it's the Oscars. We get to celebrate people for pretending to be other people. Like, for me, the best thing about the Oscars was Ricky Gervais's speech. Like, I don't know when that was. like a couple of years ago or whatever. Like for me, the pinnacle of the Oscars was Ricky Gervais's. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Was Ricky Gervais's speech when he just did not give up. He just didn't care. He didn't care. What is it with RA Redacted is saying, what is it with demonstrations? It would be like me to demonstrate in the Czech Republic, about affairs that are happening back in England, waving the Union Jack. Ridiculous. I think it is. I think it's so ridiculous. People flee these countries, right? Because they don't want to be part of that anymore. They flee whatever country they're coming from, and then all of a sudden they find unity in their old country. Like for me, I just feel like saying, well, just go back, literally go back there if you don't, if you don't like it. Darth Vapor is saying, I've only just noticed Darth Vapor. I've only just noticed your thumbnail. Darth Vapor is saying Ricky Gervais was bang on. He was absolutely fantastic when he did his his speech at the Oscars. Ruben is saying One Generation media on YouTube being stalked by Muslims trying to prevent filming. One Generation. All right. Okay. Yeah. Silly Gallardi is saying, are there any British flags? No, I don't think you're allowed to wave a British. I'm not sure, but I don't think you're allowed to wave British Union flags in London. I think it's hate speech now if you wave a Union flag in London, allegedly, reportedly. Trevor Pritchard's got hailstones coming down. Oh, hang on a minute. Woman in critical, another? When was this? I think I'm just looking now. I'm getting something from last year. I'm getting nothing recently for that, Google Enos. Maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that's an old article or something. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, let's run back. I'm just going to have a quick update on what's happening and see if there's any more videos I can share with you. Static protest. We've got a live 1 minute ago. Hang on, let me play this and see if it's suitable. Right, let's see what this lady's saying. Oh, let's see. Right, I've got a video. This is live, guys, okay?
Apartheid, the violence, the war crimes, they are all now public in every single person and every corner of this world can see. Our government and our vast sections of the media have betrayed us all. These so-called values of Western democracy, of freedom, of justice and equality. They continue to support genocide. They continue to support apartheid. They continue to support ethnic cleansing. Through military aid, through political alliances, and through unwavering diplomatic backing.
Sorry, so Sorry.
Our so-called governments, our so-called GC leaders have all been complicit and they're all corrupt in the genocide of the Palestinian people. And if you want to free Palestine, and if you want to free Congo, and if you want to free Sudan, then you need to free it from Zionism first.
Like Congo and Sudan. Wow.
And let me tell you, the walls of apartheid are crumbling. The foundation of Zionism is breaking. And that's all because you have raised your voices and you have turned up to every single protest. We came from great nations. We came from great prophets, from great sacrifices. They did not lose their lives. They did not make those sacrifices. They did not endure great hardship.
Like, she can go back.
It's just for us to sit back and do nothing today and watch the occupation and watch the destruction and the colonization of other nations.
Right, she's painful to watch. She's painful to watch, guys. She is. I can't watch that. She's painful. You know, it does fascinate me. It does. It fascinates me how, you know, people flee, like she said, we came from great nations. Like, go back there. And I mean, and I'm absolutely not meaning any disrespect to that. You know, if like, you know, these people are clearly not happy here. So like, just go home. Literally, I wish I had a country that I could say, right, you know what? I'm just going to go back there. I'm just going to go back there because I'm safe there. Googleinos is saying, I want to see the evidence to do with Zionism and Sudan and Congo. Yeah, that was a big one. That threw me out. I don't know what that was for. So I've got a friend who used to work in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is it's not a democracy and it's not a republic. Now, he was telling me that the biggest players in DRC, Congo, are the Chinese. So I don't know where she was getting that from. It didn't seem like she knew what she was. Look, and I'm absolutely no respect to her. You know, she's clearly passionate about whatever she's talking about. I just didn't understand what I didn't understand what she was saying. As far as I was concerned, the biggest player. Certainly, I don't really know anybody who works in Sudan, but certainly the biggest player in Congo are the Chinese. The Chinese are buying out all the mines, and they're taking control of the lithium. They're taking control of the copper. They're taking control of the rare earth materials. And that's the reality of what's happening out there. And a lot of the Western mining companies are being pushed out by the Chinese. So, like, are Chinese Zionists? Let me Google this. Are Chinese Zionists? I just, maybe she doesn't understand what she's talking about. The Chinese government is not Zionist. It traditionally supports Palestine. This makes no sense. No sense at all. No sense at all. Maybe she's just been told last minute to mention something because she's got friends from Congo or friends from Sudan. But yeah, I didn't know what she was talking about. China has controlled the copper belt in Africa for decades. Yeah, no, I agree. You know, the Chinese are absolutely in control of that area. So I've zero idea what she's talking about, guys. Listen, this is one of the problems, right? This is one of the problems when you get people who don't know what they're talking about, and they just start spouting stuff. I would speculate there is zero. Look, guys, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know. But I think there is whatever Zionism means, because I'm still not convinced what it means. But whatever Zionism is, I would speculate there is like zero. I would say there's like zero influence, certainly in DRC, in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And I would say in South Sudan, in Sudan as well. So I don't know where she's getting that information from. Right, let me jump back onto this Al-Quds, guys. Let me see if there's any more videos. Right, there's another video here. I'm going to share this video with you guys. Honestly, I'm not being funny, but that motif in the middle of the Iranian flag, that's giving me Star Wars vibes. You see, look at this flag here. You guys can see the flag, right? The white flag with the black writing. I don't know what that means. I have no idea what that means. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because if you're a police officer, right, and you are walking down the street and you see something in language, like you see that, I wouldn't know what that means. That could be, and I don't know what it means. It could mean something really nice, like give peace a chance, you know, let's build spaceships. Stop wars, let's build spaceships. It could say that. Equally, it could say something very dark, very offensive, and very inflammatory. The police who don't speak that language and certainly don't read it, you know, how will they know what it says? And this is one of the problems then, because you will get Persian protesters, you know, potentially looking at that and saying, look what he's saying, and the police just don't know. Right, I love that. I love the beat of that drum. Bum 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 bum. I mean, you've got to agree. They've got clear. You know, they've definitely got clear. You know, clear musical branding with that little, you know, that little beat. Right, hang on. There's give me a second. Right, I think. No, there's not. Sorry, I thought there was a GB News video update. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this live stream down now. I am. It does look like. Woke Fatigue is saying, I can't look at that flag without thinking Star Wars. Yeah, doesn't it look like the Star... Let me... Hang on. Yeah, it looks like the Rebel Alliance. It's literally the Rebel Alliance flag from Star Wars. Right, let me just share this with you. Give me a second. Let me find an image I can share. Yeah, so literally the Iranian flag is the star. Right, I think this will work. Yeah, I think I'm good at sharing this. Give me a, right. So literally, so the rebel flag, right? Just tell me if I'm wrong on this, guys. Tell me if I'm wrong, right? Is that not the Iranian flag? They're the literally Star Wars rebels. I told you guys, listen, I told everyone, right? I'm on the side of the Empire. I am. I'm on the side, like, if I had a choice, you know, if I had a choice, I would absolutely be on the side of the Empire. Googling us to say Nigerian woman who moved to the UK shares 9 signs she's officially British. Right, I will. Let me find this. Google. If I can find it, I'll read it. Right. Okay. So from 4 hours ago, I'm getting this up. Okay. So 4 hours ago, I'll share this with you guys quickly, only because it's you, Googleinos. That's the article. Like Googleinos is saying, Nigerian woman who moved to the UK shares 9 signs she's officially British. Right. Okay. So 9 signs. I'm just trying to find them. Right. Okay. I can't find the 9 signs. She's not. Oh, there we are. Right. Okay. So these are the 9 signs that allegedly claim. If you've moved to the United Kingdom from overseas, these are the perceived 9 signs that you are officially British. Okay. 1, she now says fair enough for literally everything. 2, she considers 2 degrees Celsius a bit chilly. 3, she ends emails or conversations with cheers and cheers, mate. That's fair. When mad, she sprinkles words like knackered, absolutely mental, and sod it into conversations. She eats runny eggs like it's normal. What? Is it normal? Does the rest of the world only eat hard eggs? She drinks tea every now and then and feels judged when she doesn't. She views walking slowly in the rain as a life skill. She started saying sorry to inanimate objects like tables and doors when she bumps into them. And finally, she now queues patiently and actually gets annoyed when people don't. Do you know what, guys? I'm going to throw this out there, right? I am going to throw this out there. The last comment, number 9, she queues patiently and feels annoyed when people don't. When I was in, I think it was 2010 or something, maybe, I don't know, 11 or whatever, maybe, I don't know. There was a huge ash cloud and it erupted and all the airports were closed over Europe. I was stuck in Dubai. You could tell the different nations, right, by how they were acting, right? The British went to the desk and formed a queue. All the other nations, it was just a free-for-all, an uncivilized free-for-all, right? Queuing is a very civilized way of separating the civilized from the savages. That's it, guys. That is your one metric. How to separate the civilized from the how to separate civilized from the savages. Look, do they queue or not? Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this down. I'll probably come back on later on and give you guys another update on what's happening on the Al-Quds Day March. So the Al-Quds Day March is, well, the static, whatever it's called, I don't know, is going ahead in London right now. People are getting angry. People are getting, there's a lot of tensions building. There's a huge police presence. And like most of these things, the tensions erupt at the end of it when you have that mass of people and they're all leaving. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you're on now and you've not done so already, please hit those buttons down below. Like, comment, subscribe, bell notification. I'll be back on later. And if not, I'll be back on this evening at 8 o'clock.